February 1957, Philadelphia. A man cutting through the woods finds a cardboard box. Inside it, a child. Nobody knew his name. For 65 years, nobody came forward. In 2022, they finally learned who he was. But they still don't know who killed him. This is the boy in the box. Welcome back to the Redacted Files. It was late February 1957, cold and drizzling. A college student named Frederick Benonis parked his car off Susquehanna Road. He started walking through a vacant lot, and there it was, a plain cardboard box. It had once held a bassinet from a department store. Frederick didn't call the police that day. He told them later he thought it was a doll. The next day, he changed his story and called it in. When officers opened the box, they found a small boy. He was wrapped in a faded plaid blanket. He'd been dead only 2 or 3 days. Investigators believed he was somewhere between 4 and 6 years old. His hair had been cut, recently and crudely. Someone hadn't wanted him to be recognized. And whoever that someone was, they got their wish for 65 years. What happened next was one of the biggest manhunts in Philadelphia history, except this time they weren't hunting a killer, they were hunting for a name. Police printed a sketch of the boy's face. They sent out 4,000 circulars to city doctors, then 10,000 more to police departments across the East Coast, then 300,000 more mailed out with the city's gas and electric bills. Nearly every household in Philadelphia opened an envelope with his face on it. Hundreds of tips poured in. People from 50 different towns tried to identify him. Not one of them was right. Detectives even paid for his burial themselves. They gave him a small stone and a name that wasn't really a name. For decades, he was only known as America's unknown child. One detective refused to give up. His name was Remington Bristow. He worked the case for almost 40 years on his own time. One day, he attended an estate sale at a local foster home. He saw a bassinet, the same brand as the one in the box, and hanging on the clothesline, a blanket that looked just like it. Bristow believed the boy was born to the stepdaughter of that home's operator. He believed the child was hidden away out of shame, and when the boy died, he was disposed of to protect a secret. Bristow chased this theory until the day he died. He was never able to prove it, but he wasn't the only person who thought they knew the truth. Decades later, a woman contacted investigators with a very different story. Investigators only ever referred to her as M. She said she'd witnessed something as a child and never forgot it. She said the boy lived in a home in Lower Merion. She said he'd been mistreated there for months. One night, she said, her mother lost her temper while bathing him, and the boy didn't survive that night. She said her mother drove her along, out to a field to leave the body, and that she cut his hair herself, hoping no one would ever know who he was. Investigators interviewed her, far from Philadelphia, at her psychiatrist's office. Her account matched details that had never been made public, but there was no physical evidence left to prove any of it in court. No arrest was ever made. No charges were ever filed. Her story remains unconfirmed to this day, one more thread that never fully closed. For years, this case sat mostly forgotten. Then a group of retired detectives decided to take another look. They called themselves the Vidocq Society. Former detectives, forensic scientists, people who didn't believe in giving up. They pushed to reopen the case again and again. New technology was starting to catch up to old mysteries. A new kind of science called forensic genetic genealogy. It had already cracked cold cases decades older than anyone thought possible. Investigators exhumed the boy's remains for new testing. They extracted a genetic profile that had never existed before. And then they started building a family tree from nothing but DNA. On December 8th, 2022, Philadelphia police called a press conference. Police Commissioner Danielle Outlaw stepped up to the podium, and she said the words this city had waited 65 years to hear. His name was Joseph Augustus Zarelli. He had just turned 4 years old. For 65 years, he'd only had a nickname. Now, finally, he had a name. Reporters in that room said you could hear people in the crowd gasp. It was one of the biggest breakthroughs in the city's history. But the commissioner said something else that day, too. She said solving his identity was only half the case. The person who killed him had never been found. Whoever hurt Joseph in 1957 is very likely dead by now, too. But officially, this case has never been closed. It's still Philadelphia's oldest unsolved homicide on the books. A $20,000 reward still stands for anyone with real information. His grave used to read only America's Unknown Child. Now, for the first time, it can finally carry his real name. 65 years to get his name back, and still no answer for who took his life. They gave him back his name. Nobody ever gave him justice. If you have any information about this case, contact your local authorities. And if this channel has earned your trust, subscribe. There are more files to open.